Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for Mercy Tiara Kits and I'm going to be creating a sketch-inspired double-page layout featuring the September 2024 release called Smile. This kit combines products from Chamel, Paige Evans, and more. Here is my narrowed down selection. The pattern paper is from the Paige Evans Adventurous collection, and the embellishments are from the very same Paige Evans collection along with Chamel's Reasons to Smile collection. I'll be using the main kit, embellishment add-on, and cardstock add-on. If you want a closer look at the entire kit, check out my unboxing video. I will put a link to it below, along with links to the Mercy Tiara Kits website, Instagram, and Facebook group. So here's my jumping off point. It's a Kristine Davidson sketch from Creative Scrappers, and it is the September Sketch Challenge in the Mercy Tiara Kits Facebook group, and the winner gets a $25 gift certificate to the shop, so that's super fun. My plan is to stretch the 12 by 12 foundation page into a 24 by 12, and it's going to be easy. The narrow frame foundation will stretch across the two pages, as will the border you see towards the bottom. Also, I changed the journaling placement, and I do take a bit of liberty with the embellishment area on the right where you see those blocks. So let's get started. I created a frame style foundation with 4 sheets of paper, so that creates a double frame style foundation. The blue cardstock was in the cardstock add-on. I'm showing you that I rounded the outer corners of the white cardstock, and I also gutted the blue paper from behind. There is a tutorial on my channel where I explain how to do that, so that will be listed and linked below. I have 4 square photos, 3 of them are smaller, and those are each double matted, and the blue paper from behind is the cardstock that I gutted from behind the foundation page. So here's the pattern paper. So that floral and the text print are 2 of the same, so I'll be using both sides of that from Paige Evans. The purple cardstock was in the cardstock add-on, and that pink paper, I threw it in at the last moment. That's from Chamel. I have the sketch handy, and I also have this tray full of embellishments from the main kit and the embellishment add-on. I'm going to talk more about all of these embellishments later on in the process when I embellish my page. The first thing I want to do is continue creating my foundation page, specifically that border that you see at the bottom. So already I have 2 4-inch strips of paper in that floral paper, and now from the flip side I'm cutting myself out 2 2-inch strips. Right now these measure 12 inches long, but I will be trimming them down, and I will put the measurements on the screen a little bit later on when they're all trimmed down and in their final sizes. You can also see on the sketch there is this scalloped border that kind of goes across the middle. I really like that, but I don't know what color I'm going to use. And as it is, I'm putting 2 pieces of paper in my block. If you look at the sketch, there's only 1. I really like how it looks with 2 with that text print on top, so I've decided to add that to mine. I'm placing these on the page, however, because I do have to decide what color I want for that scalloped border. My first choice was this purple cardstock, which was in the cardstock add-on. It's very harmonious with these papers, but I kind of like how that pink looks. Again, that's from the Chamel Reasons to Smile collection. I'm just trying to test them out there. I decide to go with the pink, and now what I'm going to do is use the Creative Memories border maker system to cut myself out 2 scalloped border strips. So again, I'm punching it down. Then what I am going to do is put it in my trimmer, trim it at 3/4 of an inch, and I will continue and do a second one off camera. And you'll see that in a minute. I will have 6 blocks of paper or 6 pieces of paper on my table, and that's going to form the 2 borders, or the border that goes across the 2 pages. What I want to do here is add some ink to the floral paper and the text print. The ink I'm going to use is Blueberry Bushel from Stampin' Up. I'm showing you the newsletter that comes with each one of the Mercy Tiara kits. On page 2, there's always a color palette for the entire kit. From that, I selected an ink from my stash. That's how I ended up with Blueberry Bushel from Stampin' Up. And what I'm going to do is simply add a little light touch of ink around all of the edges of these papers. I'm not a heavy inker, that's why I'm doing a light touch. And even though it's very subtle, I think it makes a difference. It just kind of finishes off the edges. I'm being particularly careful with this text print because it's white and I don't want it to look heavily inked. It's so subtle, as a matter of fact, I'm going to place that next to the non-inked paper just to show you how subtle it is. In person, however, I do see a little difference. So off camera, I continued inking. I adhered the two pattern papers together for each one of the borders, and I also trimmed 3/8 of an inch off each one of them. If you look at the sketch, there's a slight margin around the bottom and side edges of that border. So that was what I was trying to recreate. These scalloped border strips, however, are the full length 12 inches. So they go straight to the edge of that blue cardstock. Now I'm playing around with my placement of the photo. So I can have a strip of 3 photos if I want on top of that text print or placed just above it. I'm not quite sure what I want to do. I have a 4th block here because originally I had a 4th photo, but I ended up not using it because it was kind of redundant. So I thought I may want to use it for journaling, and that's exactly what I end up doing. So now that I've made that decision, I am going to adhere all of these page parts to the foundation page, and I will adhere the photos as well. So right now I'm just making sure that that margin at the bottom is equal to the margin on the side. Now I'm going to adhere that scalloped border strip. I'm really happy I went with the pink. These are birthday photos, and I think the pink just adds a little bit of happiness to the page. I really love it. Even though the purple looked beautiful, I just like the mood that is created with the pink added to this purple and blue paper. So you can see that I adhered the pages together from behind just to help me with placement for the border on the right-hand side. I adhered both borders and the photos. Now I'm having a look at that pink border, and what I decide to do is add sequins along the top of it. Each one of the Mercy Tiara kits comes with a sequin mix, an exclusive sequin mix, and they are really pretty and fun. So this one has blues, pinks, purples with pops of yellow and really tiny pink flowers. It's absolutely adorable. So to adhere this, what I'm doing is adding with liquid adhesive about a narrow strip that measures about 2 inches along the top of that pink scallop border. Then I'm using a We Are Memory Keepers pickup stick, which is in the essentials part of the shop at Mercy Tiara Kits, or it's usually there anyway. I absolutely love it. It's great for using sequins. I'm picking up one sequin at a time, no particular order, and just placing them on my liquid adhesive. So I do this 2 inches at a time, and I continue doing this. I do not make you watch all of it for the 2 pages. The entire process took me maximum 15 minutes to do, maybe not. Anyway, it wasn't long to do, and I really am happy that I decided to do it. I'm going to try to show you that on top of each one of the pale blue sequins, I adhered one of those little tiny mini pink flower sequins that I mentioned earlier. They are so incredibly cute. I'm trying to show you. I do not know if my camera is actually picking up on them. So anyway, this is really different for me because I don't use sequins intuitively, so I'm really happy when I do. I quite like it for a birthday layout. It just adds a bit of bling to a birthday layout. So here are my embellishments. I have the alphas from Chamel. They're blue and sparkly. I have them on wax paper. It's called Make a Wish This Page 2024. I also have tags. This was a pattern paper in the main kit, a cut apart sheet from Paige Evans, so I cut it up. I did my journaling on vellum and printed it up on the computer. I'm showing you I have some die cut circles. I used a die set from Stampin' Up! Called Spotlight on Nature dies. So they're basically nesting circle dies with kind of an embossed edge. So even though it's the same color as the foundation page, it will add kind of texture and weight to those embellishment clusters. I'm showing you that I have two ephemera packs, both from Paige Evans. So one of them is a floral ephemera pack, the other one's like tags and journaling bits. These ones are all from Chamel. So I just showed you puffy stickers, cardstock stickers, and these are foam titles. This is my first time digging into the Smile kit, so I have absolutely everything. I have tons of stuff here. I'm just pointing to the sketch. You can see on the right there's an area that almost looks like color blocking. I'm interpreting that as the embellishment area. I'm not going to be doing color blocking, but what I am going to be doing is filling it in with a lot of embellishments. I'm going to start with something big, so I have the tags here. I kind of went through them, selecting them by color. I picked out three following my color scheme, which is basically blue, purple, and pink. And what I plan to do is kind of stagger them. Some of these tags have words written on them, and I don't necessarily want the words on my layout. So I'm going to be overlapping and staggering, and I managed to get them there. They make an impact on the page, but I'm not seeing the words. So I'm quite happy with that. Now, the reason why I cut out those white circles originally, I was cutting out one because I thought if I'm going to put my title on that floral paper, just like you see on the sketch, it didn't really show up. So I thought it would be nice to have something white behind it. And when I cut out one, I thought, what the heck, I'm going to cut out a few more because circles make great base layers to embellishment clusters. And even though they are white on that foundation page, it still adds weight and texture to those embellishment clusters. So I'm quite happy with it. I took the circles, put them in three spots, so basically establishing a visual triangle. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the title yet, to be perfectly honest, but I do think it's going to go in the bottom right. Now I'm getting out the floral. So this is an ephemera pack from Paige Evans. It was in the embellishment add-on. So I'm tucking in some flowers in and around that photo on the right, just kind of at the top right of that photo, and then in and around those tags. That floral ephemera pack as well has leaves, so I end up tucking some of those in as well. So I'm quite happy with that. I will have to come back and do finishing touches, but basically I'm just kind of establishing my areas where I will be embellishing. I put a little flower by the title. I'm not sure if that's going to stay or not. Now I'm working on the opposite page. So for that journaling box, I thought I would put a flower cluster there, one of the ephemera pieces, along with the date. I'm kind of happy with that at this point, but that does change a little bit later on. I start working on that cluster over on the far left. And basically, I'm going to put that one cluster there. That one is actually vellum. It's really, really pretty. And I will put, I'm not sure if I have already, but there is a circle that goes behind it, adding texture and also a little bit of white behind that vellum. Now I'm trying to tuck in another floral piece, and what I'm finding here is that the placement of the leaves are not agreeing with me. This happens to me sometimes with lots of different ephemera pieces, but particularly floral ones, which I happen to love. And if the leaves are not in the right spot, I will take my scissors and just kind of chop them, and you will see me do that in a moment. I'm just kind of playing around. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the dark pink or kind of the salmon pink there. There I go, cutting off the leaves. Again, they just didn't work for me, so I cut them off. And the area where I cut it is tucked behind that circle anyway, so you can't see where I actually cut it. But what I'm finding is I'm still having quite a bit of trouble here. Anyway, I fussed with that one quite a bit, but in the end, I end up liking it. But what I'm noticing right now is if you look at my journaling box, so the 3 areas with flowers, it's almost like a straight line across that line of photos, and I'm not really liking it. So off camera, I ended up switching it up. You can see there's a photo at the top and the journaling box is at the bottom. This looks weird because I slowed it down. I just really wanted to explain it. Now you can see by placing my journaling box at the bottom with that cluster, I have 3 floral clusters and they form a visual triangle across that line of photos, and I am happier with that. Now what you see me doing is moving on to that cluster over on the far right, the main one. So I'm just adhering this. I sped it up quite a bit. I punched holes in each one of those tags because I am going to have to address that later on, add twine or something like that. So I punched the holes. Now I'm adhering them, I'm kind of staggering them like I did before, and all I'm doing here is basically adhering everything where I had placed it. I'm coming in with that large floral cluster, kind of overlapping the tag there, tucking in once again that circle. It's white on white, but there is a bit of texture and I do like how it looks. So towards the bottom of the tags, I add another little flower, and then I do come in and tuck in some leaves. So again, I will be adding some extra pieces, some finishing touches, but when I am creating these clusters, at one point there are so many loose pieces, I just have to adhere, and then I can come back and look at it with fresh eyes and make finishing touch type decisions. So I trimmed off that half circle there. I'm actually going to come in and trim it again because I wasn't happy with it, and that is where I will be placing my title. So my title is going to overlap it. It won't entirely fit on it, but it does make the title more visible, and obviously it's a repetition of the other circles that are on the page, so I'm quite happy with all of that. I am starting by adhering the title towards the far right, working my way backwards. These are foam alphas. They are quite flexible. So me, I like things straight on the page, so I just take a bit of time. I continued that off camera. I am happy with that, and now I'm ready to do some finishing touches. So I'm going into the floral bits and I'm adding a few more flowers, thinking it would be nice to add some of them with foam adhesive, coming in with some extra leaves as well. Now I'm just kind of tucking another floral piece down by the title there in the bottom right. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with that at this point. What I do end up doing is I get out the cardstock sticker sheet and some wax paper, and I'm just going to select some. This is kind of pretty much a back to school slash everyday collection. I mean, there are backpacks and books, but there's also balloons and birthday cakes. So that's what I am selecting. I just get some smaller bits and pieces because I already have big pieces on my page. I have a birthday cake, a few balloons. I select a bit of wordy bits there. Anyway, I'm just looking for stuff. Again, this is my first time digging into this collection, so I am a little bit overwhelmed with choice. What I do is I just simply rip up these stickers that are on wax paper. I rip up the wax paper. That way I can kind of play around with placement a bit, and all I want to do is tuck these smaller bits in the clusters that have already been adhered to the page. So I have a little wordy bit in pink. It says, "Today I am." So I put it just above the journaling box. I'm kind of happy with that, actually. And I also have a birthday cake. I'm placing it around the page. I'm finding it floating everywhere. Finally, I ended up kind of tweaking that cluster just above 2024, tuck the cake in there, and the flower that was already there, I will have it overlap the cake. And I like how that looks because this is me with my birthday cake. Now I have some other bits and pieces as well. It seems to me I have balloons, and that's going to work well for a birthday. There were even balloons at my birthday, which is kind of cool. I kind of tucked it towards the top, and now you can see I've really sped this up. I end up putting the balloons towards the bottom. I have a little camera sticker that I end up sticking underneath 2024, and I'm happy with that. I have some little rainbows as well. I may not be following exactly what I'm doing because I found this part kind of boring. Again, just tucking in small little stickers. For the rainbows, I end up one in the top left corner, the other in the bottom right by the title. But basically, this is it, my finished layout. Off camera, I simply added reinforcers to the tags, just with a bit of twine. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this process. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be honored and thrilled if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very much. Make sure you check out the Mercy Tiara Kits shop and all the other links that are listed below. Take care, and I will see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.